Welcome back to Holding Film, where we discuss some of the most notorious lawsuits surrounding film production and distribution. I'm your host, Peter Buren, and on today's episode, we will be diving into one of the most influential films of the past decade, and the infamous lawsuit surrounding it. This is the Last Ounce of Courage lawsuit. Freedom. It's the foundation of our American way of life. Now, if there's one film I think about when I hear the word freedom, it has to be Last Ounce of Courage.
You know, I always saw myself as a patriot. I don't remember anyone telling me that freedom had to be fought for and defended.
Directed by Darrell Campbell and Kevin McAfee, starring Marshall Teague, Fred Williamson, and Jennifer O'Neill, Last Ounce of Courage tells the story of a white man's fight to oppose oppression and reclaim his right to publicly celebrate Christmas.
Now, I've always seen the film industry as a melting pot, if you will, of different backgrounds, ideas, and opinions. Now, would I describe some of those opinions and ideas as flawed? Sure. But Last Ounce of Courage certainly does not fit into that category.
So why don't people do Christmas like that anymore? With the shepherds and everything.
Well, for a long time, people had been trying to pass laws to get rid of Christmas altogether.
Last Ounce of Courage was released on September 14, 2012, in select theaters across America. Initial reactions were mixed.
I truly think that people just weren't ready for what the film had to say. I mean, I know McAfee had a gold mine on his hands, but it was a struggle to market the film.
McAfee did everything in his power to market the film, but nothing was sticking. Feeling like he had no other options, McAfee turned to more controversial methods to spread the news of his film's release.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think Last Ounce of Courage is an utter masterpiece. But even I will admit the telemarketing ad campaign was taking things a little too far.
Pretty slimy stuff, if you ask me.
To say the least, people were not happy. An estimated 3 million people received an automated call suggesting that they go see Last Ounce of Courage. Soon after, a class action lawsuit was filed. The creators did everything in their power to fight back, but in the end, they were fined $32.4 million in violation of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. Well, that's all we have for this week's episode of Holding Film. Make sure to like and subscribe, and join us for next week as we take a look at one of my personal favorite films and one of my personal favorite lawsuits, the Black Widow lawsuit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.